Am I the jerk for not letting my parents stay at the birthday party? A month before my 20th birthday, I asked my mother if she could leave me the apartment so I could have a party. She said it was okay, no problem, she would stay at my uncle's house with her laptop for work. A day before the party though, she said she couldn't spend the night at my uncle's anymore because of an issue with her work, which would require her to use the home computer. This upset me because ever since I started having friends, she has a history of disrespecting my boundaries and privacy whenever I would bring them over. She wanted to get drunk and smoke weed with us, overshared details about her sex life, and her presence obviously prevented me from talking about anything I wouldn't want her to hear. This also happened at my 18th birthday party and one time when one of my friends had his birthday party at our apartment. I got mad at my mother and we fought. I said this was the only thing I'd asked her for the party and she couldn't even keep her promise. She couldn't seem to understand why her presence at my party with my friends would bother me. I believe that having a month to prepare to spend one night away should have been enough to prevent any sudden problems that would have required her to stay at home. She used money against me, saying that she pays for my stuff. In the end, she managed to pack her stuff and go to my uncle's, and the next day my dad sent me a voice text saying I needed to apologize to her and invite her to the party. I didn't. I think I might be the asshole for making my mother upset and ignoring my dad's request to invite her. Am I the asshole? All the her house, her rules. People are so strange. It's really not an unreasonable request to ask her mum to clear out for the night, but Op definitely should have planned the party at a restaurant or bar. And sure, it's different because it's your mum, but asking her to leave her own home is a bit much. Both parties have their faults, and it might be best for Op to save up and move out. Am I the jerk for choosing to separate myself from my family during our family dinners? When we have family dinners, I choose to go upstairs or outside when the talking begins. The main reason is that when I do join the conversation, they act like I'm invisible or completely disregard me. For example, we could be talking about food, and as soon as I say something, I usually get talked over. It's not like they don't hear me, they, especially my mum, act like I'm not there. Another situation occurred where I had just got a new MacBook because my other one was stolen. I was walking up the stairs and my brother tried to snatch it. Everyone got mad at me except my grandma because I held onto it tightly, and I got upset. I told them that if he had asked to see it, I would have let him. But as I was walking upstairs, don't snatch it because it could have fallen and broken. I was yelled at because I always had an attitude, but my grandma stepped in and told them they were wrong. I can admit that I do have attitudes sometimes, but when I don't like something and I get an attitude, I told them I don't like it, but they still do it. Another example is, I don't like being touched above my shoulders. I don't know why, but I can't stand it. I express that I don't like it and ask my brothers to please stop. Usually I will deal with it because they're playful. But at our last dinner, I got fed up with it and got mad. Anytime I get mad or express that I don't like something, it's either that I'm stuck up and can't just joke around. But I don't like those jokes. Today, we had another family dinner and I expressed to my grandma how I feel after she kept calling me an introvert because I go upstairs or outside. I told her why, and it's because I'm ignored or always talked over. I've reached the point where I really don't care to engage in the conversations. And every time, everyone has something to say and I am tired of repeating myself. So am I the asshole? You are not in the wrong here. Your brothers are extremely annoying and need to learn boundaries. It's just a joke isn't an excuse to be a jerk. Maybe recording a family dinner would help gain some perspective. Am I the jerk? My best friend didn't give me a wedding gift or a homemade painting. Why am I still upset after 1.5 years? My best friend and I grew up together, both from low-income backgrounds. I have been lucky to have a successful career in technology over the last few years, whereas she has chosen to follow her passion, less lucrative as a ceramist. We have not been as close over the last few years as we live in different cities. I have made efforts to keep in touch, but she often says she is bad at staying in touch with people who are not in the same city, which has left me feeling hurt, but I have tried to understand. I got married towards the tail end of the pandemic, so our dream wedding venue gave us a huge 70% discount on the wedding, so we decided to go for it. The wedding turned out to be quite extravagant, which made us feel a bit embarrassed since we both come from humble beginnings. My best friend mentioned she wanted to make me something, and I was really excited. At the wedding, she seemed quiet and not like herself. She is not into fancy things and looks down on anything she considers to be capitalist or materialistic. She did not seem happy for me at all and was not her usual happy-go-lucky self, which disappointed me a bit. After the wedding, she said all the right things, but she never made me a ceramic piece, and she was the only guest who did not contribute to our honeymoon fund. It has been 1.5 years, and it still bothers me. This on top of the struggle to stay close, with me making efforts, and her lack of seeming to care much about me. I know it's petty, and of course I would never bring it up to her, but she has always been frugal, so I would have at least appreciated a meaningful ceramic piece. She did write a card, but it was not like her usual style, as she crossed out several errors and simply wrote, "Congrats. Everyone sucks here. Her for making a commitment and then not following through. You for keeping score." If everything had been about you and your wedding, she might have felt unable to bring anything up about herself. Her acting out of character could mean that she has some personal issues going on. Have you asked her how she is or inquired via friends? Am I the jerk for saying that my parents don't have empathy for me in particular? I, 17-year-old female, and my parents often have many disagreements. Not a day goes by without at least one of them yelling at me. In my country, that kind of behavior from parents towards children is normalized and often said to be for the benefit of the child. Most of the time, it's petty arguments or one-off comments, but sometimes it gets too much for me. Once my mum and I had a huge argument right before I left for college because she kept screaming at me to hurry up. I still said goodbye to her to keep the peace, but she ignored me. So I continued to ignore her for the next 2 days. That night, my dad berated me for being disrespectful to my mum. In the end, I was the one forced to talk to her. No apologies from either side, we move on and pretend like nothing happened. This year has been hard on my mental health due to body image issues, university entrance exams, and such. I've tried telling them that I want to try therapy, but they say, "What stress do you even have to deal with?" My parents are supportive of my education and future, and they provided me with a lot of luxuries. I can't deny that, but I can't help but feel awful sometimes. This all came to a head today when I was carrying some soup to a table, and a huge butterfly kept touching me and flying around me. I have a huge phobia of insects, almost getting panic attacks sometimes, so I freaked out and ended up spilling the soup. I was trying not to cry right then and there, but then my mum came in and just screamed. She then basically screamed at me to clean it up. I was just really hurt that she couldn't even have a little bit of empathy for me. I still wouldn't stop crying, and my dad was nice enough, but my mum basically told me to grow up and stop acting like a kid. So I kind of lost it and screamed at her that she had little to no empathy for me, and I don't like how she treats me, and frankly, I'm starting to actually dislike her as my mother. She then starts crying and still will not stop bringing it up out of spite even a whole day later about how I'm the R for screaming at her. Even went around telling every relative about it. So, am I the a-hole? You did nothing wrong here. This post screams Indian parents to me, and they sound really abusive even if it's normalized in your culture. It's important not to give in to their screaming matches to protect your own energy. Look into resources on how to deal with such parents online. There's a lot of free stuff out there. Am I the jerk for not attending my sister's wedding? My sister is marrying her boyfriend of 10 years. Family and friends are invited to a skiing location for 2 days to celebrate. From where I live, it takes 3 hours to get there, and it's pretty much impossible without a car. I don't have a driver's license. My sister and I don't have a close relationship. Last year, I tried talking to her about issues in the family. During that conversation, she attacked the way I behaved towards our mother, said the way I saw reality can't be trusted, told me she didn't believe anything I said about our childhood, and told me I was selfish for letting my mental illnesses lead to hurt and disappointment in others. A few days later, I got a long text. She wrote that the way I act and live affects her and our parents, and that having problems doesn't allow you to destroy others around you. She also compared me to my uncle, a serious alcoholic who led a tragic fate. I have a little weed addiction, and I've leaned on my parents for money. I also live in an apartment they bought, and spent a year convincing me that they would like me to move into. I am now diagnosed with severe recurring depression related to family. They know, but pretend it doesn't exist. They all say they cannot understand how it became like this, but they don't believe in my explanations. Truth is, my mother has used me as a shrink for as long as I can remember and made me not trust my own thoughts. I was 6 years old when she said that, if things didn't get better soon, I'm gonna leave, on the verge of tears. I've spent my childhood in constant fear of my family falling apart. She later said, I think it would be better for everyone if I wasn't here. She has leaned on me my whole life while emotionally tearing me, and everyone else around her, down. I can't remember a single time when she has supported me emotionally or given me the strength to believe in myself, so I don't feel like I should put myself in a torturous situation for them. I dread being surrounded by people who don't acknowledge who I am or what I have been through, with friends who either don't know what's been going on, don't accept it, or probably think I'm the asshole and my mother is a saint for dealing with me, the black sheep and troublesome child. Not going to your sister's wedding will definitely make a statement, but maybe it's a statement that needs to be made. It's time to put the weed pen down and take accountability for your own life. If you can't afford to go, then don't go, but understand that it's a reflection of your current situation. Figure out how to support yourself and follow your dreams so you can become your own person, independent of your family's expectations. Am I the jerk for forcing my friend to tell the truth about her cheating? I had a best friend who has been cheating on her husband on and off for almost 2 years. At first, they were on a break while she spent some time living separately and enjoying the freedom of singlehood. She had some fun for a while, but after a couple of months, started having casual fun with another friend of mine, and they continued this situationship on and off to the present day. They ended up developing feelings for each other, and the whole thing was a bit of a mess. However, about a year ago was when the cheating started, as she had decided to stop living the free life and was committed to fixing her marriage. But as you already know, it wasn't long before she secretly went back to the casual fun situationship guy. Their secret weighed heavily on many people in our friend group, but she assured us time and time again that she owned her mistakes and wanted to be better at fixing her marriage. This didn't last long, as she felt she could stay friends with the situationship guy, which always led back to them becoming more than friends. Fast forward to almost 3 months ago, we all took a trip away for a concert and went out drinking afterwards. After bearing the burden of their secret for so long, drunk me had had enough and decided to tell my best friend how much keeping their secret was affecting me while we were out in the clubs. I didn't remember this conversation until a week later when she sent me a text that refreshed my memory, explaining that I had threatened to tell her husband if she didn't. She said I crossed a boundary. She said she didn't want to fight, so I only said I was sorry and that although I couldn't remember much, I definitely used the wrong time and place to have that conversation. She then ended up telling her husband everything that week because of what I had allegedly said. Since then, I remembered a bit of what happened and how much the situation was affecting me. I had said I felt it was getting to the point where I felt so guilty I may have to tell her husband. But we have not had a chance to talk, as I've given her space with one message to check in and tell her I loved her a few weeks ago. I've talked with quite a few friends because I didn't know if I was in the wrong because she was so upset and so distant, but so far all of them said I was not the a-hole. I'm just feeling like I'm losing my best friend now because of my morals, and I'm not sure how to move forward. So please help, Reddit. Am I the a-hole? In my opinion, you have done nothing wrong here. If someone cheats and then involves friends by sharing their secret, they're just asking to get caught. It's unfair to burden friends with such a heavy secret, especially when they are also friends with the betrayed partner. A true friend wouldn't put you in that uncomfortable position to begin with. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.